So I do not reject Christianity or Hinduism or, well, I don't reject any man's deep belief. I'm ready to accept that he understands it in his way, and it's very important to him. And there will be great things of value in it. I suspect with all people. But of course, they would reject me. Many, most. I mean, typical Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, whatever, theosophist would, well, probably not quite theosophist, well, yes, possibly, depending. Certainly many of them in that faith, in all the faiths, would reject what I value. Something of what I value. Not all of what I value, of course, but something. So, the fact that they reject me doesn't mean to say I have to reject them. And I may well find I have to hide certain things from people in order to relate to them. But you know, I do have other ideas and practices, if you like, that they just cannot abide. But I'm not to reject them for that. And I won't deliberately have them reject me by drawing attention to that where we differ as opposed to that where we agree. So I exclude from conversations what I know to be unacceptable. That's fine. I could be totally open as to what all my views are. And that would avoid being a blessing to a tremendous number of people. Well, I'm not going to do that. I can speak to people in their own conception of what is good and true and right. And certainly I will influence them. I'll be influencing them towards what I understand to be, well, a fuller appreciation and love of God and all that He has made. Even that statement would repel some Christians and certainly some Buddhists, well, I expect all people really. I wonder if I'm right in saying all people. Not sure. Thank you, Heavenly Father. You see, we assume that you can jump from ignorance to truth. You can't. You can only go through a passage of development from who you are at present to who you need to be in eternity. In that sense, it's a path, it's a process. It can't be done instantly unless it's a spectacular, miraculous transformation, visitation from God, if you like. So there can be key things that if you change them, like, Saul, he suddenly realizes that he's persecuting the very God that he truly values. And that transforms his life. Suddenly everything's turned around. Gosh, I got it wrong. And everything changes overnight. And we see conversions like that. But we see conversions to a state that's not perfect. It's to the ideal of a particular conceived religion. So, people become born-again Christians and see everything that's not Christian as evil and conceivably something that should be sent to hell if it doesn't conform in the end, that sort of approach. It's not got the subtleness of it is hell not to know God fully, and they don't know God fully yet. But that doesn't undermine the tremendous leap that they've made. Phenomenal turnaround of life. But of course the Christian finds that even though he has made this phenomenal turnaround, and Paul then drones on about it endlessly, that he still does what he would not and doesn't do what he should do and so on. But there's still a lot of work on the completion to achieve the fullness that God has for us. And he thinks and considers, the state and the body he would have in things eternal. So what I'm saying here is that there's no point in you giving a full science lecture to a 3-year-old. It's not comprehensible. At best they're bored, at worst they're at screaming point. Start to throw things at you. And that's what it's like. People are not ready to receive. They can come from where they are. They can't come from where they are in one single step. They can make tremendous strides in the right direction, and conversion is one of them. But there's still much to be done in terms of the Christian religion, you see. You can become a monk, say, in Buddhism or Hinduism or something, but there's still a great deal to be done as regards full enlightenment. You've simply shown your willingness to move in a certain direction. Now, it's understood, I think, in Zen that you can achieve enlightenment in one lifetime. In fact, you could achieve enlightenment in one moment. And that's what the sort of meditations on what's the sound of one hand clapping is meant to bring a halt to the analysis of the mind, so that you just see what you're looking at as opposed to analysing it and conceptualising it and so forth. There's a greater experiential oneness that you can achieve by stopping the mind constantly droning on. Other religions see this as a bit dodgy because, what does that leave to fill the void? How do you know that the enlightenment is so good? Well, the argument is they explain it as being a wonderful state, so they know it's good. Having said that, though, we're not sure as who's enlightened around us and who isn't, and there don't seem to be many Buddhas or arhats to talk to directly anyway. So there are problems. It seems, though, in the uncertainty of it, that in general the spiritual life is a development, and that in some sense we're all on it. A large number of the population might not realise they're on it, Although they do in other terms, they know that they're learning to be wiser and get things right and know what's good and bad. And they're not that far off knowing they're on the path. It's not as organised, coherent and complex as the religious paths, but so we're not in general going to get anywhere by giving the final lecture to the novice. We lead them from where they are to where they need to go. And we do that by talking in terms of what they can conceptualize and appreciate because of their experience. And to talk of something way beyond that is so foreign as to be not secure ground on which they can accept at all. And that's the reality, as I understand it. So, coming down to action, you stay where you are until they throw you out. And if they throw you out, you know you overstepped the mark and you went beyond their bounds of understanding and tolerance. That's not their fault. That's that's possibly not your fault. It's a mistake you made. Thank you, Heavenly Father.